Mom's got a podcast. Mom's got a podcast? Mom's got a podcast.
Mom's got a podcast.
Mom's got a podcast.
Hey, I'm so excited to have my daughter Jayda back with me for the second part of her interview. She did such an awesome job. You're going to love this second half. Thanks for coming along for the journey. God bless. Okay, Jayda, I have like 3 more questions that I'm going to ask you, and they're going to be kind of fun. And the first one is, from being raised in our home, since this is a podcast for moms primarily, what would be some of the things that we did that I'm teaching these parents to do that you will hopefully want to implement into your life? And what are some things you're going to be like, nah, I don't think I need that. That's okay. I would be fine. You could be like, I definitely want to do this, and I might scale back on this a little or whatever. So just share straight from your heart.
Oh, that's a good question. No pressure.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, there's a lot that I think you did great, because clearly we turned out good.
Just kidding. Oh, no, Jayda, you have to tell them what you said in high school when I was writing this.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I was writing this, and Jayda said.
So at this point in time, we were all doing real good. I mean, we still are, but I was like, she was writing this whole book about how to have your kids turn out great, essentially, and be a good parent. And I was like, Mom, I could really just mess up your whole parenting book. She was like, how? And I was like, I could just be really bad and turn out terrible, and then no one would want to read your book, essentially. But I didn't do that.
She said I could sabotage your parenting this book. Yeah. That was so funny. Jayda, very, very witty. Okay, so what are some of the things?
But the perfectionist in me would have never listened.
No, she couldn't. She's such a good girl. Okay, so what are things that you hope to do when you're a mom? Because Jayda, do you want to get married and have kids?
So if you know any single Christian men who...
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That's true. Okay, wait, let's go there really quick. This is so fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
What are some basic moral biblical standards or things that you're saying you think is valuable for like a young adult woman or guy to be aiming for? I'm not talking about like some unrealistic, like give some pointers for anybody that's raising kids that you would say, help them value this while they're waiting, and like, so they don't get preconceived ideas about dating. Did we let you guys date? How can you have standards? Like, kind of talk to parents about that dating thing. Because actually, Jayda, one thing that parents told me when I first wrote this, they said, you're probably not publishing this yet because you're going to need a whole section on helping parents know how to navigate their kids dating and being open conversations, and how do you Christian date. And I mean, you can share as much or little as you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 questions.
Okay.
Go wherever you want. This whole ADD right now.
Yeah, it's great. Well, honestly, I didn't really think I wanted to date in high school. And then going into junior, senior year, there was a boy that I ended up dating. And honestly, I think you guys did a great job of handling it. At first growing up, we kind of had rules of like different ages. It was kind of more understood that you probably shouldn't date until you're out of high school, just for the sheer fact that you should be dating to get ready for marriage. And if you're not ready to be married, then there's probably not a whole lot of point in dating super young. And I'm thankful I did not need a boyfriend in middle school. I did not need a boyfriend in 5th grade. Even through beginning of high school, like there's so many other things to focus on that having a relationship at that age can be not overly helpful. But I get that a lot. That is a desire of a lot of kids when you get all those emotions and feelings. And so when it was time for me to start dating someone, one of the things I love that you guys did is you had so much trust in me that I was going to do the right thing and honor God with my relationship, that it made me want to live up to that trust. And
we had trust in the young man you dated too.
Yeah.
And still do. Like, he was a kind man that we respect still.
Yeah. And so I think knowing that, like, I wanted to be pure. I wanted to honor God with my life, and so did the person that I was dating. So that obviously helped. But then knowing that both of our sets of parents were in our corner and wanting us to be successful humans and loving Jesus and growing together, like, it really helped us to not feel like we had to hide or do anything wrong if we weren't doing anything wrong. And so having that trust, I think, was a really helpful part of being in a relationship and helping us. I know I could come home and say, hey, like, what this happened? Can you give me your wisdom? Or maybe we should set this boundary, and be able to have that open communication and it not be awkward was great. And I think that started with you being able to lay on my bed and talk to me. And because we had that relationship, I was more open to want to share the good and the bad and the hard and the questions and all those things to be able to share with you, because we had that relationship was really special. And I think even if your teens won't admit it, they want you to be a part of it. Like, they want you to like,
Safe.
yeah, to be safe and to be supportive of them, and also like a safe place to land when something goes wrong, or you do have questions, or you don't know, like it's their first time with a lot of things. And so to have a parent that's a safe place and they know is in your corner and will also bring biblical wisdom and also trust you, I think are the three big things that will make it a successful dating season as a teenager. And obviously I didn't end up with the person I was dating, but I'm very thankful for that season, and to be able to have that season with you guys and to learn with you guys was great too.
That's
So,
amazing, Jayda. That was an unplanned question that you just answered so beautifully, that I believe will speak volumes to our moms and dads.
yeah.
Your dad was a safe place too. It was just so
Yeah, it was
open, and
it was never
so
like
easy.
it didn't have
Yeah.
to feel icky or like some hidden thing, because it wasn't. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, no, we're honoring God, and it didn't have to be weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
And it also didn't mean I had to marry him either.
right.
So it was,
That's a belief that
Yeah.
some people get skewed. If you're a Christian and you're dating only for marriage, then how do you reconcile if you don't marry the person you are dating? Those are those things we don't understand. We're actually kind of saying without saying, that we learned as we went, where it's like, whoa, when we were telling teenagers only date with marriage in mind, then they thought they had to marry their first person they ever dated. Some people thought that. And so then it's like, whoa. And so just learning how to word things and say it in a way that's a better fit for the reality,
and I
right?
think too, it's such a sweet season to be able to learn how to date under the headship of your parents, because if you do start dating in college or beyond that, lots of times you don't even live in the same town as your parents, and it's different having that, especially if you admire your parents and they have a good relationship with the Lord, you would hopefully want their input and their advice as a Christian young adult. And so having that when you're dating as a Christian teen is really helpful too. I think it's something if it's a good person to be dating, I think it's not wrong. It's a good thing to take advantage of having your parents to help guide you through the process of it.
Yeah. Jayda, I love that you said that. And
Yeah.
I have a friend that I'm in connection with right now, that they say we tell our children that we always have the right to change our mind, because we're learning as we're parenting too.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that we were doing the very best that we knew. And our goal originally, we told all our kids when they were little that we don't want you dating in high school, because we didn't want it to be like just making out and flippantly dating and breaking people's hearts. And so that was like our intended goal. And Danica, when she was turning 18 before her senior year, I was driving in the car with her, and I said, because she's our first, I said, I need you to know that just because I've had in my mind that dating in high school is absolutely silly for like some reasons,
Yeah.
I also was feeling this is absolutely silly that I'm telling my daughter, who's about to be 18, you can't date because you're in high school. I was having my own epiphany that I made a rule, or their dad and I made a standard that was to have our children's best interest in mind, their maturity and their purity and their future. But it was an unrealistic date or number to maintain. So we adjusted it with Danica. And at that point, she was like, even though she liked a guy, she said, I want to wait. I don't want to date till the end of my senior year, because it's really fun just being friends with everybody. And so she didn't, but we shifted that. And that was a hard part in our parenting and our pastoring, because we had encouraged all the teenagers that we knew up to that point to do your best to just not date in high school. Now, we did say to them and their parents that if you're going to date in high school, you have to have your parents' blessing. You have to be mature enough to handle it. So we didn't say never date in high school. We started saying things like, have these things lined up. They better be a Christian. You have to have morals and standards, and know that you have accountability. But it was still something we had spoken a lot about, that don't just worldly date in high school, because it sets yourself up for a lot of temptation or a lot of heartache, or you lose your friends.
Yeah.
Because once you date, it shifts everything in a friend group and it shifts the guy and all that. So we'd always said that. But then Danica, she went with it.
Yeah.
And then Tessa dated a little bit in high school. But then here's Jayda, and she did date, almost your whole junior and senior year? Or was it friendship your junior year, dated your whole senior year?
Yeah, I think it was more that. Like, we
Yeah.
dated probably end of junior and then all of senior and into college a little bit.
All of our senior year and into college. And we had to just own it because we live in a glass house.
Yeah.
We had to own that our idea of waiting till after high school, because we were getting, our teaching from some of the main speakers back in that day were saying, just don't date, kiss dating goodbye. And so we were doing the best with what we knew. So parenting tip number 1 right here. Give yourself and your children the knowledge and the wording that you're allowed as a parent to change your parenting perspective and style as you go, because you don't know. You're learning.
Yeah, and it takes humility too to say that, hey, like, we were wrong and we want to do better. And so kudos to you guys for being humble enough to say, hey, like, let's shift and do this and grow. And I think that's great because it's your first time being a parent too. And it's okay to not always have it right the first time. And it's not like you're shifting a standard that's biblically laid out in the Bible. Thou shalt not date in high school. Like, it's not like you're shifting a biblical standard. It's you shifting an opinion that is, I think it was great for me to be able to have that opportunity. And
I actually agree with you too, that if your child is mature enough, and I will do a whole nother one probably, and just talk about what I think is a healthy way to navigate parenting with a teenager and the standards for their dating. Because even as pastors, before Jayda was even old enough, because we could see this was happening anyway with kids. So then we were doing this with everybody else. Really, but for our own family, we were still pretty much thinking, wait, but then we humbled ourselves and we made that adjustment. And I would say we needed that. Jayda handled it really beautifully, and we are so proud of her and the young man that she dated. We still respect how you guys handled it. And we trust that God knows all the details, right? And you are single and you have peace and your expectations and waiting on God's best for a guy for you. And if you were a boy, I could have a son sitting here or a daughter sitting here. I think, parents want to know what are things that should be non-negotiables or are non-negotiables, and what are things that are just opinion, and how do you reconcile that as a young adult?
Yeah. I would say one thing too, before we go too far from the high school dating, I think it's a good thing as parents too, to not make, like, obviously talk about how, like, it's beautiful to have a desire to be a mom and to get married, but like, marriage shouldn't be our end goal in life. And I think sometimes it can be so, like, I remember as a young girl being like, oh, like, my biggest dream is to be a mom and to be a wife, and like, that's all I want. And I don't think that's a wrong desire, but I don't think that it should be the goal that, like, oh, Jayda's 23 and doesn't have a boyfriend. Like, I don't know. I think it can be Christian culture sometimes that you need to find someone young, get married young, or like your life isn't fulfilled or your life isn't great or you're not going to do God's call in your life because you don't have a spouse. And that's just not true. And so I think it's important at home as parents too, to encourage your kids that, it's beautiful to have the goal to get married and have a family, but what else is God putting in your heart to do? And like, how can you honor God in this season? And being single is not bad.
It's not a curse.
No,
I feel like
not
people
a curse at all. It's
feel
beautiful.
like, oh, if I was single, it'd be so terrible. What do you love about being single?
I love being single, honestly. I mean, it was a hard transition going from a long-term relationship to being single, so it was a process getting
your heart to heal.
Yeah, but getting to the point where I'm at now, there's just so many beautiful things that I've learned to grow as a person and as a human. And especially as a young adult, you learn a lot of being on your own. And when you move away from your parents or you go to college or you try something new and you learn things about yourself by yourself that you don't necessarily learn when you're in a relationship, and you're so much more available to be just all in for God. Be like, okay, God, like, what am I doing? I can serve as much as I want to. I don't have a commitment to the person, or like my focus can be so much more on people or on different things for the kingdom, that when you do have a husband, or if you're a man having a wife, then your priority goes God, and then your spouse, and then your kids, and then the people around you. But if it's just me and God, like, my perspective and my horizon for people and for ministry is so much bigger. And Tessa and I were talking about the other day too about how as single people, like we should be like the biggest prayer warriors out there because we don't have as many, like we should be praying for our family, but we don't have your kids to be praying for yet. We don't have as many family battles to be fighting in the spirit realm. And so when you're single, like it's your time to be all in and praying and doing what God's called you to do. And yeah, I love being single. Honestly, as much as I want to be married one day and have kids, I'm not mad about my season, whatever. I live with joy and I have purpose and yeah, it's great, honestly.
Jayda,
the rest of your question.
Powerful. That is powerful. I love it. Okay, so you are not discouraged. You're not sitting around pouting. You know you have a purpose and a call, even if it's not full time at a church. Being single is a season. And you're handling it with the grace of God.
It's not a dreaded season. And I think some people too are like, oh, it's my waiting season. And I don't even view it as necessarily a waiting season. It's just the season I'm in. Like
preparation. It's a good season.
Yeah, it's a preparation season. And I think we're always can be waiting for something. You could be dating and waiting for engagement, or engaged, waiting to finally get married, or waiting for kids. There's always something you can be waiting for. And I think there's a beauty to just being like, okay, Lord, like this is what I'm doing, and I don't know how long this season will be, or how short it'll be.
Just like where you're at.
Yeah,
and what you're doing.
Yeah, and being like, I don't know. I want to stand before God one day and be like, okay, Lord, I did well with the season I was given, and I've had a prolonged. I'm not that long. I'm only 23, but longer than a lot of people I know with their single season, and I think it's a beautiful, a gift that I don't want to take for granted, and I don't think should be discouraged by young people. I don't know. I think sometimes it can feel as if you shouldn't be single.
All of us old people at church shouldn't be like, you don't have a boyfriend yet?
Yeah,
right? Like
there's so much more to a person
so
if
much
they're
more.
in a
Like,
relationship.
so what's God doing, and how are you, and what's stirring in your heart? Ask that instead of just.
I mean, be praying for a husband. I won't say no to that, but
it doesn't always have to be that. Hey, you got a boyfriend yet? You're like, golly, there's so many more things in a young adult woman's life that are things to talk about and get excited about and get behind and champion and doing in your season, which is amazing. So speaking of that, let's talk about Jayda, about to move to Australia. What, 6 months ago, a year ago?
That was a time.
Come on.
Well, I think that was 6 months ago.
How did we end up with our daughter thinking she wanted to move to Australia?
That's a really great question. Well, I don't even know how it started. I guess I was just in a rut with my job, and I felt like, is this it? Like, am I just going to work a 9 to 5 and serve at church, and I don't have a husband? And
all those things were bombarding.
All of the feelings of being a young adult, and also thinking like, what if I do get a boyfriend next week and then I'm stuck now being married and never leaving and experiencing the world? Like, I kind of just was hit with all the emotions of, wow, like this is my chance to be a young adult and go travel the world. Like, I just had all these different feelings, I guess. And I, at the time, was like, wow, I should just move to Australia. And my thought process was, Billings, or like Montana in the winter, is really dark and really depressing, especially if you are single. It can feel harder. Like, the nights are long. It gets dark at 4:30.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a rough winter. And I was like, well, you know what? Australia on the other side of the world is in summertime at Christmas. And so I just had all these thoughts of how I could go and just do maybe a ministry there or some sort of like,
and meet new people.
And then I was like processing it and praying with the Lord. And like, honestly, it was a cool thought where I was like, Lord, like, thank you that I have the opportunity. Like, I have savings. I could do this. Like, I felt so blessed that I was able to. And then as I was praying and thinking about it, my desire was that I was like missing something in the world, because all I was doing was just ministry here. Like, my life felt almost too good, that it maybe was too easy. I was like, Lord, like, I have a good job. I have good friends. I have a good church. Like, maybe it's too easy. I need to make my life more harder, more interesting.
Or sacrifice, or more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I had all these thoughts. And then one day I was like, why would I leave something that is so good? And I'm clearly walking in the peace and the joy that God's called me to, and I have purpose, and I have friends, and I have a good job, and God's been faithful. And I don't think it would have been a sin for me to go to Australia, but I also realized that it's like 8 hours away, like 8 hour different time zone. And I was like, I might just be lonely on the other side of the world. And I can't even call my parents because they'll be sleeping when I want to talk to them. And so I just decided that I should be content where I was at. And I don't think, I mean, I could have gone or I could have done some sort of mission, but it was, I was chasing this feeling that I might find more fulfillment in doing something that's like, quote unquote, different or more, it would be a cooler story to tell my kids one day kind of thing.
More extraordinary and out of the box, and not so I grew up in my hometown and I still live here.
Yeah, and I don't think that it would have been wrong, but I just felt such a peace about staying where I was at and deciding that I am doing ministry. I'm so blessed to be able to minister to kids every week and to my coworkers. And
you're a boss woman. You have a great job.
I do. I would have been.
She doesn't call herself a boss woman, but she has an amazing job, and her 9 to 5 is not lame. She works in an office.
And it helped. I had a really good friend start working at my job afterwards, and so it made life a lot better. So thank you for that.
But you are thankful for your employers, and you have a great job, like really out of like a fairy tale. This job with great people, and you still get to have some time off to do ministry. So. The process was good, though, because our family walked Jayda through it, and we all said, if you're called to Australia, go.
Yeah, and
we were maybe getting too good and too easy about it.
Yeah, I think I came to the conclusion I wasn't called. I just thought that if I didn't do something crazy, then I wasn't fulfilling the call. I think that's kind of around that time is when I really settled in my heart that I can be called to the people in Billings. I can be called to my coworkers. I can be called to the person at Target. Like, I don't have to be, I think you can be chasing a feeling, a high of doing something crazy for the Lord that you miss the steadfastness that we're called to. And so, I guess hopefully that makes sense. But that was kind of my thought process there.
It was amazing.
And who knows, maybe me and my husband will go on a trip to Australia one day.
I love it. Honeymoon in Australia. Okay, I love it.
There are big spiders there, so maybe
these questions, these answers have been amazing. We're going to do one more. Jayda, things that you will implement in your family when you are a mom, because we went from that, I went like, but I love everything you shared. It's going to be like, nuggets of gold for everybody.
I hope
so. Things that you hope to do as a mom one day, or a Christian family that you want everyone to take home from. Hopefully it's already in season 1, and then go back and listen, but things that you want to take into your future.
Yeah, it's great. I would say I love the way that we did a lot of fun things as a family. Like our childhood was full of fun, and whether it was fun at church or fun at home, like it never felt like it was a drag to be with our family. It was like, oh, like my family's my best friends, and I still feel that way today. And so I thank you for that, for making my best friends. And it's just a blessing that I think a lot of people long for in family, and so I feel grateful to have that. And so thanks for cultivating that atmosphere.
We used to say, we'd say goodnight, say goodnight, and we remember for a while there it was like you could hear around the house. You and Micah were both upstairs, and you'd hear, "Good night, Micah. I love you. Good night, Jayda. I love you." Oh my goodness,
Mama Heart.
You're best friends.
They really
you
are
best friends, and that's cool. You want your children to see their siblings as their best friends.
Yeah, definitely. And I think too, one of the things I really admire about your and Dad's parenting is that you were the same at home as you were at church or anywhere. And so when I saw the way that you loved the Lord at church and the way you led people and loved people, you didn't come home and talk bad about them behind their back. You didn't come home and begrudgingly talk about how you had to serve and how you had to be at church and create an atmosphere of like, oh, it's a duty versus like a love. And so that's something I hope to implement too, that like we love going to church. We love being with people. Yeah. And so I think like the repetition of we love people, we love the body of Christ, and we love serving, and we love people, like it implemented that deep into my heart that I want that for my kids. And I do love Jesus, and I do love church, and so I definitely love that. Awesome. I think something too, I probably will do your little charts that you do. I think those are great. We love the honor, serve, obey charts. I also loved that we had a lot of great resources that were like Christian resources. Like we would listen to Adventures in Odyssey, and we would do
Adventures in Odyssey.
so good.
Yes, we love them.
Or we would have Christian books or Christian movies, and I feel like we were never lacking in cool Christian things.
Oh man, that was
We had
what you
so
got.
many cool. Well, we thought they were cool. Maybe they weren't cool.
We
The
got
other
it for
part.
Easter and Christmas and birthdays. We're gonna like load
But
up
you know
on.
what else made it cool was that the people that you surrounded us with, the other families, also had this
Oh, that's
love Jesus, and we
right.
all were listening to Adventures in Odyssey. We all like had a
So that was
community.
cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Junior Bible quiz was cool, and so I guess another thing that I hope to have with my family is the community of people who also love the Lord and who our kids have the same standards, and I can go to their house and have a sleepover, and it's not scary because they love Jesus and we're family, and I can have just a healthy and community and environment of people who love Jesus together. And so I hope to do that with my kids as well.
I love
And yeah, I love the way that you really did see me where I was at in different seasons. And so I hope to if I get a palm tree, hopefully I'll be able to connect with them. I might
Oh
get
my goodness, if I have
some lessons from you. Yeah.
at our palm tree.
Yeah, that probably it's in their genes.
Okay, that
but-
doesn't mean I don't like boxwoods.
yeah.
But a palm tree is very drawn to another palm tree.
I've
we-
noticed. It's
We have energy for them. Like there's something about it that almost empathy and energy, and like we see it in them. And it's a blessing, and it can almost be a curse, honestly, to be the palm tree kid. They're the ones that get in trouble all the time. You didn't get in trouble. You don't know the feeling of being hardwired to be naughty. And I know that feeling.
Yeah.
It's like you just don't wake up wanting to obey the rules. You wake up wanting to color outside the lines. You wake up wanting to be louder than everybody else and to make everyone laugh and try to get everyone to follow you, and even if it was good or bad. And so if any of my children end up with palm tree children, I believe they will love them because my kids genuinely show me love.
Yeah.
And I love their differences, and I love their dad. And their dad is so different than me, and you are a lot like your dad.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed palm trees are usually drawn to us introverts, and so I have a lot of palm trees in my life.
Oh my goodness. You want to know palm trees, why they love pine trees or boxwoods or introverts? It's because you will laugh at their jokes, and you're patient and kind, and you're a great listener and a great encourager. And I know that all of us in our family tap into that in you. You are a blessing, Jayda. And Dad and I are so proud of you. And my goodness, the way you work, the way you shine Jesus everywhere that you go, and how you volunteer. I love that you talked about volunteering, because you know what? We get paid to do it, and you do it as unto the Lord. And our heart is unto the Lord too. But it's such a blessing that you serve the Lord with all your heart. We're going to wrap up, Jayda. I really, really love that you came on here with me.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I want to have you back. I want to record some podcasts for our Awaken event. So I'll have you back, and we'll talk about some other things about being a godly woman and how we can live that out in this culture that we're in, the standards that you have for yourself, and not breaking those standards and those morals. So we never did hit on what would be like the top things, like top 3 things that you think God would have for you as a godly girl to hope for in a future husband. And then we'll land this, because maybe we'll do another whole thing for Awaken on being single and waiting for God's best.
What I'm looking for in a partner, or for myself. Like who I
whoa.
Because I guess they're kind of aligned. Usually similar.
Yes, okay. What would you expect of yourself to be prepared to be God's best for someone else? And what are things that really matter to you that you're willing to trust God for and not compromise on for you? In a future spouse, yourself and them.
Well, I've had a lot of time to think about this. So I would say I've honestly probably shifted what I would desire to be and who I would desire to marry as I've gotten older, which I think is really cool, and also makes me thankful that I am not married yet, and that I probably will keep growing in who I want to be and who I hope to marry. One of the things that really matters to me, obviously, is that they love the Lord, but also just having a desire to serve in the body as well. I will not marry someone who's not going to serve and be a part of the body with me.
Like they need to actually go to church and want to volunteer and be there.
Yeah, and I think it's the seeing the value in the local church and the value in living life all out for Jesus. Like, just truly valuing working unto the Lord even more than your job, more than going on vacation, more than like if he's not the priority, it's not worth it. And so
If
that's
that's
something.
not the priority,
Yeah.
then it's not worth
I want to live on mission together. And honestly, as being not as much of a dreamer, I hope that I marry someone who loves to dream and I can help them along in whatever they're called to do. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. And then I also
I love that.
have really wanted, as a more recent desire, as I've been learning a lot more about money and just wanting to give and be a really generous person. And so it's really important to me that the person I marry has that same desire to live generously with money and with time and with even just love for people. And so I would say being generous, being sold out for the Lord, and if I had to pick 3, liking my family. That's a big one. If you don't get along with my family, you're gone. You don't make the cut.
No, I didn't know you were going to say that, but I do
It really
believe
makes a difference.
that he can fit like a puzzle piece into the unit that God called you to and put you in, where we're super high functioning together.
Yeah.
If he didn't like your family or fit with us at all, I think that would be a red flag.
I think
for
too,
sure.
especially since we love people.
Yeah.
It's not that we're not hard to be with. I don't know. And so I really
Wait,
hope
we're
that-
not hard to be with? Are we super weird?
So he has to like our family. It's a big deal. And yeah, those are kind of my top 3 things that I would look for in a future husband.
Okay, so he has to fit with our family. It matters because we work together, we love each other, and it really is a unit, and we do feel like it's a really special unit. And so, yeah, that is so special, Jayda. I didn't think you would say that, but I love those standards that you have, and we are believing God that he's bringing your husband, and we are also thrilled with how you live your single season, how much purpose, how much call that you are functioning in.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on my podcast. I hope everybody comes back for the next one. It'll be with my daughter, Danica. Jayda, you are a light. You are a blessing and a joy. And I'm honored that I get to do ministry and life with you, and you are called. And thank you for being here. So,
Thanks for having me. I'm thankful for you too.
you bet. I love you.
I love you.
It's so good. Should we wave goodbye?
Bye.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Mom's got a podcast.